just a little bit. That's too loud. Oh, we are live as I'm adjusting the camera and my hair.
Everybody.
Hello. We'll give just a second or two here before we get too deep in the excitement. All right. Let's see here. Super thrilling still. Wanted to wait for a reveal for everybody because I do have something just out of frame. Literally, it's like
Just barely.
that's it right there. I'm touching it now. What do you think it is? Guess what you think I have in frame first that I'd like to show you that you'd all be excited about. And then, and only then, will I show you what we've been up to here at, sorry, Holland's in front of it now too, Promevo TV. Perfect. All right, everybody. So a few things we promised this week. Updates on.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at it.
Like
It's
get the
very
little
good
light
device.
reflection. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. That's how we get all of our pretty shots here. This is the Acer Spin 13 that you all have been asking me incessantly about. I am very excited to show this off to you here. I wanted to pull up our notes too for today, James, if you're okay with that.
That is great. Let's go ahead and do it.
So, as always with me, everybody, we've got James and Holland.
Hello, Promevo.
So,
Yeah.
a couple things. So, we'll start here with the Acer 13 review as I pull up my notes on it. I debated. Oh, what's up, Alfie? Welcome back.
There he is, Alfie.
I'll make sure that we've got this in here. Did you show this to my personal too?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's pull that up. So the big thing I wanted to talk about at first was the Acer 13. So we are currently working on a review of this. I'm hoping that we'll have it out this week. But so far,
It's pretty great. Pretty great
it
device.
is awesome. Yeah, it's really great. It runs incredibly well. The screen is beautiful. Something that Acer got a little outpaced on in 2017 because we had things like the Samsung Chromebook Plus and Pro,
Which is hard to beat.
the Pixelbook screen, and I would definitely say they took a note from that. I don't want to spoil too much of the review. The model we're looking at is the Acer Spin 13, which is the CP713, and then after that, it's 1WN55HT. All stuff we'll put in the final review, of course. To give you a little rundown on it, obviously running on Chrome OS, Intel Core i5 8250U processor, which is a quad core with 1.6 gigahertz. We've got Intel integrated graphics 620 with shared memory. We've got the 13.5 inch IPS display. It's in a 3:2 ratio, and the resolution on that is 2256 by 1504, 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of flash memory.
That's a monster. That's a monster machine.
Yeah,
right there.
it's a big beefer as far as the Chromebooks go, for sure, especially in the Acer world, which are usually a little down. In turn, the price is a little higher than the typical Acers that we've covered in the past, which are usually in the $300 to $400 range. But again,
for those specs, I mean, a quad core i5, 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs. I mean, that's real approaching high end for Chromebooks.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And I know we talked last week about how that's something that we're seeing a big upward trend on in general. Can't watch now, we'll watch tomorrow. Awesome. Alfie, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support as always. And everybody else, if you have any questions or anything, please jump into the chat. We like to talk about that. So, Chrome news is not something that it's not like the typical 24 hours news cycle where you're getting bombarded constantly. And I think we're pretty set so far, since no one has said otherwise, on doing these streams Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 to 3:30 p.m. I think 3:30 has been the move so far. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. This seems like a good time for everybody. It's post-lunch, pre-end of day, but we can jump in for a few minutes. So today we had a couple bits of news. A really big one, again, as we've talked about repeatedly, I think you will find will be a trend of most, if not all, of these live streams that we do, is not just how many different Empire Strikes Back shirts I own.
A lot of them.
But the upgrades to the functionality of Chromebooks.
They're hand in hand.
That's a great series. Actually, that's a great suggestion we just got there. Why don't you start a series of the apps that work best in the Chromebooks? I would love, so I'll be honest with you, I don't use a ton of applications out of the Android Play Store. I'm very a little basic in that regard, where I am the occasional game, the Drive suite, that sort of thing. So yes, if there are certain applications or types of applications you're interested in having us cover, let me know. Like, send me, you can shoot that there. I'll get an email in the thread after this video is updated, so you can actually contact me directly. Let me know. I'll give you a little caption, a header line, all that fun stuff.
One of the ones we're trying out soon is the Adobe Rush.
Yes.
That's their video editing on a Chromebook software.
Which should be really cool.
So you'll have that video soon. We're going to try to do that one.
Yeah. So speaking and going back to the updates with regards to Chromebook functionality, Google Duo, which is their built-in video calling app, which if you're a Pixel owner, you're very familiar with, and other devices. That video calling app is now supported across all Chromebooks.
It's great.
So another easy way to do video calling with each other. If you haven't used Duo before, it feels like a smaller, for lack of a better term, version of Google Hangouts in that it's designed for one-on-one conversation. At least, again, it seems that seems to be the main purpose. Wow. I was going to say name of the game. The main purpose for that application. So that's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things that
they took like the FaceTime UI and cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And, dare I say, as someone as a iPhone user, don't crucify me on stream. But no, it's got a few great features. One I thought was really cool is it's kind of like a knock feature, like the digital doorbell thing that's popular now. Where, but even before you answer, you'll get a live preview. Who's ever on the other side of the other call, they'll show up on your screen before you answer. So.
And that way, you could red button them with 100% confidence.
Exactly.
Like I do with most of my calls. Great suggestion on those apps. I will dive into those and see when I can get that kind of stuff fit in the schedule for you. So thank you all. We always like to say that this is all about user-supported content, things of that nature. Here, so we talked about the Google Duo app. Oh, yeah, you mentioned that the knock feature. Look at you. So not just available, by the way, on Chromebooks, but it is currently also available on iOS devices for traders like James and Android devices as well for, everybody that's superior.
We can all still use the great Google features.
That's true. That is very true. I think another big one, and this is something we don't see quite as much of, I think, these days, but it is something that, especially with additions of features like video calling and video chatting. I mean, obviously, you have Hangouts already, but the Duo system, I think, allows you. It feels more like a regular phone call, right? And I think that's what so many of these applications are trying to do is remind us of things that we already do, so it feels familiar and comfortable. So speaking of that, Sprint is launching a new LTE Chromebook. So LTE is in 4G technology.
CTL, I think.
Is it CTL made?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So CTL is making it. It is an 11.6-inch Chromebook, and it will have, as I mentioned, the integrated LTE capabilities catered specifically for use on Sprint's own 4G network. I don't know how well it works. I am not a Sprint user, so maybe do a little research on that end. Instead of giving it away for free as an incentive for new customers, the carrier is charging up front for the device on top of the $15 per month wireless plan required to use it. So again, just more interesting information. I think I would love to see more LTE-enabled Chromebooks because I think it'd be great. It's something I think anytime I leave the country, it would be really useful that I could just drop a SIM in that instead of having to do that on the phone as well, and I could do pretty much everything I need to do in that small thing. I think that would be it's one of those things that to me feels like a no-brainer. Maybe I'm not 100% the target customer in that regard, but that is something I would like to see a lot more of.
Oh, I love the idea and the fact that that opens up the possibilities. You can use your Chromebook wherever you are,
right?
Wherever you have cell phone coverage or LTE coverage. Obviously.
Yeah, well, and so many people would be like, "Well, you have Wi-Fi almost everywhere." Yeah, but how good is public Wi-Fi?
Oh,
for
terrible.
the most part, it's terrible.
Oh,
right?
so bad. And you have to go through all the confirmation menus and have to, agree to all their security.
Like we would like access to your microphone, your camera, your shopping list, all that sort of stuff. And I just don't want people to know how much bread I buy.
A lot.
It's a lot as a breadsmith.
Get it.
Yeah, so this is, man, I love that Sprint, I'm reading the press release here, and Sprint refers to itself this way. America's fourth largest wireless carrier, I think, of four. But that's great. So anyway, they are quoting it at a cost of $299 for the system itself, the aforementioned $15 per month. The combination of, and according to the press release, the combination of Google's cloud services and an LTE-enabled Chromebook should attract more business and enterprise users to Sprint's data plan. Well, in that regard, I would say, judging from some of the anecdotal evidence I've gotten against Sprint, you guys should really work on your LTE network so people don't think that they should go to a different carrier. And that's, again, maybe that should be the request is let's branch out beyond. It'd be cool if it was just unlocked so it didn't have to be on Sprint.
Yeah.
There's plenty, and Sprint is, if I'm not mistaken, LTE should be all universal now, but there used to be the GSM versus the CDMA networks, and Sprint was one of those, and so was Verizon, but I think LTE changed all that. I'm not a network technician. I just used to sell cell phones. But thinking about that, it'd be nice to see that capability unlocked elsewhere. So again, that's the biggest one here. James, those
were just some of the specs, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I just want to make sure here. So They are considering this an entry-level Chromebook, and they're saying it's more akin to the Dell Chromebook 3181, if you're familiar with that model. I unfortunately am not. But with a price point of $299, you probably know about what you're getting into. 11.6-inch LCD display, an estimated 12 hours of use with battery life, and that's without LTE coverage. So I'm assuming that dramatically shrinks. I bet it goes to 9 hours. That would be my guess. Intel processor, unnamed, 4 gigs of RAM, internal storage up to 32 gigabytes. You've got your wireless connections of the LTE. You've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.2, 2 USB 3.0 ports, 2 USB-C ports, 1 micro SD, an audio jack. Actually, there's a lot of ports for a budget Chromebook. That's great.
No, that's a pretty good amount.
Built-in webcam, Chrome OS, built-in Chrome OS accessibility features. Excuse me.
I get that people want thinner Chromebooks, but something that I love the R13 for is that HDMI port.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Sprint will begin to ship this Chromebook for subscribers mid-December, so that's pretty great here. I think that's these are the types of things that I'm looking for here in the future. James, would you mind logging in and pulling up the notes from marketing last time? Yeah. I wanted to bring up as well. We had some things we'd like to talk about. Last week, we talked about an event we're doing. I believe it was December 4th. I'm having James pull that data up right now to make sure it's correct. But anyway, before we jump ahead there, I think it's such a I'm sorry, I'm reading questions here, but I think these are the kinds of upgrades that we want to see to Chrome OS long term. I would assume it was like last week at some point. I think they emailed it. Let's see. Can you plug in an external DVD CD drive to a Chromebook? That is a really good question. So S. McD. I'd like to ask my support team to confirm that or try to test it myself. I don't have a external DVD. Don't know why I'm having trouble reading today. I don't have an external CD DVD drive that I could test it on currently. That's something I would just love to test myself if possible. Yeah, that's a great question, though. I would assume, I don't know. I'm guessing, my immediate guess would be no, only because I'm assuming there's drivers and things that probably don't necessarily exist for Chrome in that end. Don't quote me to be safe, but I think that seems like a pretty solid estimate. It seems like, especially as I would doubly guess that in regards to the decreasing popularity of CD drives and physical media becoming less and less frequent. So we've got that note for you here. So this is another big thing, and you'll hear this on the next couple of chats until the one actual event occurs next week. And no problem. Thank you. I can't make the heart face back, but just imagine I typed it. All right. So on December 4th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our coworker Brandon, who is one of our Google experts, amongst a bunch of other things, another charming and delightful presence here on Promevo TV. You've seen him occasionally. Maybe you've seen our old Chromebox for Meetings videos or the Hangouts for Meets videos that we updated after the fact.
Maybe you haven't, go watch them.
Yeah, exactly. Check those out. Some of the information, I think, at least on the Hangouts for Meetings, since that has been replaced, Chromebox for Meetings has been replaced with the Hangouts for Meets kit. The old one. But the point is, Brandon's great, and he is hosting for us an event called The Value of Chrome Enterprise, Why Small Businesses Are Using Chrome Enterprise Devices. I'll just read this off verbatim so I don't mess anything up. Again, this is happening December 4th at 2:30 p.m. As more and more small businesses move to the cloud, they face challenges of things like unmanaged and unsecured devices, high IT overhead with limited resources, and decreased productivity with limited collaboration. And with this, you can join, again, Brandon Hampton here from Promevo. And Promevo is a Google Cloud partner. To learn how Chrome Enterprise helped out our friends at Rocky Ridge Trucks overcome these challenges, increasing their competitive advantage overall. I will place a registration link in the additional info section of this video when the live stream is over. If you'd like to register and sign up, I highly recommend it. Brandon's great to listen to if you're a small business owner or work for a small business. And this is something that, we see it all the time. And we see that all the time. And sorry, I love getting notes from our marketing team during the streams because it's always a little bit funny. And then I have to explain that I'm laughing at that, not at you all. You love James's crown, right? You can all see that.
Now, that's what we call a special effect in the business. I'm not actually even wearing it.
Or the Star Wars helmet we also have.
I can't reach that low.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just keep squatting. Anyway, the long and short of it is we would love to have you all a part of that. If you, again, what I was getting at is that you see this, and we see this a lot personally because we do the case study videos here and to reference this one. I would highly recommend, if you are a business owner thinking about Chrome, check out the case study we did back in, I want to say February or March would be on our timeline, when we went down to Rocky Ridge Trucks and spoke with them about their Chrome, how they handle Chrome integration, how it changed their business for the better, and how easy and product, how it's been super easy while also increasing their productivity and thus, as it mentioned here, their competitive advantage. So that's
a link to that too.
Yeah, well, so we'll have links to all this in the additional information section here. Give me just about 5 minutes or so after the stream ends so I can update that so you can register. We would love to see you. Coming up, I believe we have it currently scheduled for December 14th. We're going to be doing a fireside chat where it'll be the three of us, as well as Brandon and maybe a few other Promevo representatives here to talk about the world of Chrome. And I will give you more updates on that as we get closer to the 14th, as far as specific details, what to expect, what kind of gifts you could bring us, and things of that nature.
More crowns.
Here's a link to my Amazon wish list, because that's how the internet works now. But those are our big news for this week. So our plan for the rest of the week is to knock out the rest of the Acer Chromebook review for you, because we haven't gotten to do a Chromebook review in a while, so it's really exciting. It's been almost a year, I think, since we've done a video. And guess what? S. McD, if you're still watching, we just got a note in here from our support team who says that an external CD drive would not work. And I think this may have been what I was kind of briefly talking about with the decline in popularity, is that they require drivers, and that is unfortunately not something that the Chrome device will work with. So I'm very sorry to give you bad news, to be the bearer of bad news today, but you can blame it on the charming and wonderful Jeremy and our IT team for delivering the bad news to me, forcing me to deliver it to all of you.
That's a chain of command.
That's how this works. If you just saw it, it just, different chains. Yeah, exactly. How does that work? So if any of you have any other questions, go ahead and lead them up here. I'd love to answer them. If not, I'll give you just another minute or two to type in. If not, we'll jump off, and you can go ahead and put this on your calendars for Friday at 3:30. Get your questions ready. Feel free to leave comments on this video, all that stuff. Like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We're having fun. I'm enjoying doing this, actually.
Great.
We have
Let's
not gotten to do a lot of
different.
Yeah, I like it's been fun because I've gotten to I already feel like I interact with a decent bunch of you, on the comments and posts, but it's nice to have these immediate live streams where everybody can jump in as needed. So again, are there any other questions? I see a couple new people joining in. I just want to make sure if anybody has any questions about Chrome, anything like that, let us know.
Type them out.
Yeah, type them out now. I'm staring intently at the chat thread right now. Yep, still staring. So again, one more time, December 4th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Brandon Hampton from Promevo here will be hosting the value of Chrome Enterprise, why small businesses are using Chrome Enterprise devices. This week, you should see our Acer Chromebook review, provided everything goes well when we screen it for the higher-ups, and go from there. So on that, I guess in that case, I don't see any more questions coming in. I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you for being here. We will see you on Friday afternoon. Have a great, keep waving because it's going to wait 3 more seconds.